So now this is segment 2 of our third class, and we're looking at the book of Genesis. Let's look at the word day. First day, second day, fourth day, fifth day. Let's look at the word day, because this has been a long-standing battle among theologians, even among denominations. How long was the day at creation? There are all kinds of theories out there. Let me just put them out. We can talk about them. The obvious, a 24-hour day. Second, maybe the day was a certain period of time, and then even between days, there was another period of time where nothing occurred. Third option, maybe those words are just put there to help us kind of conceptualize something which we really have no idea of conceptualizing. So when we read this, how are you understanding that God did this, God did that, God said it was very good, it was the second day? Look back at the text. That may give you a clue. Let me point a couple of things out to you. I'm going to call out just the verses. Verse 5. There was evening and there was morning one day. Verse 8. There was evening and there was morning a second day. Verse 13. There was evening and there was morning a third day. Verse 19. There was evening and there was morning a fourth day. Verse 23. There was evening and there was morning a fifth day. Verse 31. There was evening and there was morning a sixth day. You getting to see some kind of pattern here? There was evening and there was morning a second day, a third day.
Sounds logical.
Well, yeah, but how long are those days?
Well, we didn't have a clock or.
I gotta be honest, all the times I've read this or heard it, I never picked up on that
Well, here,
repetition of it.
okay. But here's the thing. You said there was no clock. Does that then mean that when God began his creative work, he did not do that in some kind of time? Let's just think about our Jewish brothers and sisters for a moment. What do you know of the beginnings of their day? No. It starts at sundown and goes to the next sundown to sundown. So we haven't got there yet. It's not been created yet. It's going to come on the seventh day. But the Sabbath day is our Saturday. But they begin that at sundown on Friday. So there's, okay. Monday is a Jewish holiday called Kippur. Oh, no, that's right. It's right. Not sure. Okay, I'm thinking, yeah, the one at the end. Yom Kippur. Yom Kippur. Now you're going to learn a Hebrew word. Yom. Yom. That's the Hebrew word for day. Yom. So Yom Kippur is the Day of Atonement. Yom, in Jewish literature, has always been understood as a 24-hour period of time, from evening to evening. Now I say that, and I say that in confidence, that I personally believe, standing on the shoulders of our fathers of the past, that when God created the heavens and the earth and everything that fills them, he did it in 24-hour increments. He did it in 24-hour increments. Why? One of the things that we learn, a byproduct of one of the things we learn in the book of Genesis, is that God is a God of order. He brings from chaos order. So when God sets out now to create everything there is, he does it in an orderly way. And if we have accepted this concept of sundown to sundown, let's say, one day, Yom, then we have to assume that God created the heavens and the earth and everything in them in 7 days. 7 days as we know them.
Sundown's a different time every day.
Okay? But that's true. But the elemental concept, I think, you get. A 24-hour period.
Yeah.
Even though, yes, it changes.
Changes.
But still, it's basically from evening through the next day to evening. So the Jewish Sabbath does not end until sundown on Saturday. Which, by the same token, is why the Christian church has what we call vigil services. For example, Christmas Eve. You don't think we have a Christmas Eve service because we want to get it out of the way, because nobody will come on Christmas Day because they're opening up their presents from Santa. We have it on Christmas Eve, which is really the vigil of Christmas. Easter vigil, Pentecost vigil. So we're all within that milieu of the day itself.
Saturday night service.
Yeah. And by the way, for those of you who are former Roman Catholics, that was the big argument after Vatican II, when the Roman Catholic Church wanted to have Saturday night services to fulfill your Sunday obligation. The initial rule was you have to have it at sundown, because that's technically then the Lord's Day. Well, then there have been modifications, and it's changed now, but they were trying to hold on to that concept.
I'm glad we do it no matter what the reason is.
Yeah.
We do it the right way by going Christmas Eve.
We try to do that, yes. Yes, we try to do
Even
that.
though it is because we're busy on Christmas morning.
We give our next Christmas Eve.
Well, yeah. Yeah, I know. It's the same way. I grew up in a German congregation, and only the old Germans were there on Christmas morning. But technically, I'm trying to get that whole idea that the day begins at sundown, even for Christians. Even for Christians. So, now, I believe, as I just said a moment ago, that when the Lord created the heavens and the earth and everything in them, he did it within a 24-hour period of time. Whether you ascribe to that or not, it doesn't matter. Because in the end, it does not depend on your salvation, whether you say, oh no, it's 24 hours, or it could be this length of time with even eons in between that. It has nothing to do with your salvation. But when we try to make some of these interpretations, we try to see what's happened before. How has the church fathers, how has the church looked at these issues and interpreted them? And sometimes we say, good enough for me, not broken, don't fix it. But if you're one that comes a little differently, it's not going to determine whether you're in or out of heaven. And I'm going to stop right here now for our second segment.